The new parts have arrived from the factory without issue. They'll be fitted to the car in time for the next session.
Yes, hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2018 career mode. Here's there on France today. Sorry for the long delay on these videos. I just simply haven't had the motivation to play career mode, if I'm honest. But we're back into it now around France, and hopefully we'll continue these videos once again. But without further ado, there's the R&D tree, by the way. Without further ado, let's get into qualifying for the French Grand Prix.
Welcome to qualifying for this weekend's French Grand Prix. The teams are making their last-minute adjustments before the lights go green and the fight for pole position gets underway. So, could be a tasty one today then, Ant. We've got all the ingredients, that's for sure. Treacherous conditions, an ever-changing racetrack and one or two cars just behind the pace setters who maybe, just maybe, fancy a bit of an upset after a good performance from them in free practice.
And the question has to be, of course, what is that circuit going to look like in 10 to 15 minutes from now? If you think the rain's going to get worse, then you have to be straight out when the lights go green to find whatever grip you can. But if it eases off, then you're better off waiting, saving the tyres and going out at the perfect moment. The other thing that comes with these conditions? Traffic, and the lack of visibility that comes from sitting in the spray. It's going to be a constant problem, and I expect to see a lot of frustrated drivers with ruined laps out there today.
So yes, as you can see then, it is a wet qualifying session here today around France. Starting off as intermediate tyres and going on to our first run in qualifying. Hopefully we can have a good qualifying session, I hope. I don't really know what the pace is like in the wet, because this is my first time going around France in the wet, I'm not going to lie. But coming round to the final corner then, we are taking it very cautiously, as you know you would in the wet. And coming around the final corner then, we're going to cross the line to go, I think, fastest at the minute. Yeah, fastest for the moment. But obviously with people still set times and all that, and as you can see there, we're now back down to P10. And with about a minute left to go, I thought I might as well go out and do another run on Inters, because, you know, as you may know on the game, the track when it's wet does get a lot faster during the session. So I decided to go out and do another run. And coming up to the final sector, then we're going to go around as long right-hander, and we lose the rear end here, and we almost end up in the barrier, but luckily we didn't. So that's our qualifying one session done with anyway, but we're through anyway. I just wanted to see what the pace was like actually, you know. So I mean, Nico Hülkenberg there going faster than Lewis Hamilton. It's not a bad result from him. And we have, I mean, 10th is not bad in the wet conditions, but as you can see here then, the track has dried up quite a bit, but I don't think it was enough to go out on the dries. See what Kevin Magnussen has gone out on here at the moment, and I think he's gone out on the Super Softs, is it, or the Ultra Softs? I can't remember what the fastest tyre is on there. But yeah, he's gone out on the dry tyres, so it must be dry enough to go on the dries, and yes it is, as you can see here, as we are now out on the Ultra Soft tyres, as there was a voice break in there, I don't know why. My voice, hello! Yeah, anyway, that was weird. Starting our qualifying lap then, I don't know what went on there. Starting our qualifying lap then in Q2, our first lap in Q2, and we go through the first chicane quite nicely there actually. That was a great first apex there. Unfortunately missing the apex the last corner, but that last corner is the most awkward corner you'll ever know in your life. But coming across the line then, we actually go fastest. Faster than Raikkonen and Bottas, but Raikkonen was on supers. So yeah, I mean we only just about got through, if I'm honest. Alonso, I don't know where Alonso is actually. He might have gone out in Q1. But Nico Hülkenberg, again, fastest than Lewis Hamilton, and a Red Bull this time. I mean, Hülkenberg is on one in this qualifying session, not going to lie. But as you can see then for Q3, the sun is out in force, and you can hardly see where you're going through half these corners, but you know, that just happens in F1 at the minute. well, on the game anyway. And going through the first corner there, then I mean, this track is just so flowing, and it's so nice to drive. And coming through the final corner, then hitting the apex this time, so that's a marked improvement on our Q2 time. And we come across the line then, and we go P2 for the moment behind Daniel Ricciardo, but faster than Lewis Hamilton. So I don't know if Hamilton has issues in this Grand Prix or what, but he seems to be bogging down quite a bit in qualifying. I don't know why, and we're coming up to the line then with 10 seconds left. Are we going to make it? Yeah, we're fine. We made it with 5 seconds left, so we just about managed to start our last qualifying lap of the qualifying session, and there is the end of qualifying there. And unfortunately missing the first apex, which is, it's not really going to harm us that well. But we're coming up to the line now as we're improving by, I think that's a 10th or so, or a 4th, I can't tell, the preview screen is so small. We're coming across the line and we managed to qualify in P6, so it's not that bad. Best of the rest, I'm assuming. Faster than a front runner, yeah, faster than Max Verstappen, so that's not bad. Only 5 tenths away from pole. So yeah, that's crazy, guys. I don't know how that's happened, if I'm honest. So yeah, great qualifying session there.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy. The weather hasn't been ideal in qualifying. What's your take on it? Your qualifying pace didn't put you at the front of the grid. Will this be a problem tomorrow? Great! Well, that's everything.
I found that questioning very interesting, because she said my qualifying pace didn't have enough pace to put me on the front row. I mean, we shouldn't be on the front row, not gonna lie. So I don't know what she's on about there. But that was weird anyway. But 6th is good actually, faster than a Red Bull, so that's impressive. As you can see there, all the reputations going up and all that, all the normal admin stuff. But without further ado then, let's see how we can do from 6th on the grid at the French Grand Prix, and hopefully we can maybe get a podium.
It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
Welcome to Le Castellet as we return from across the Atlantic for the 2018 French Grand Prix. The last time Formula One cars raced at the Circuit Paul Ricard, Alain Prost took Ferrari's 100th Grand Prix victory and the 42nd of his own illustrious career. That was 28 years ago, when half of the drivers on the grid today had yet to be born. And how, I wonder, will that legacy continue in the modern era? A lap of Paul Ricard then consists of 15 corners and a total length of around 3.6 miles. Drivers will need to position their cars carefully on the exit of the flat-out turn 10, ready for the double apex right-hander at 11. Watch out for potential overtaking action at the end of the start-finish straight and into the heavy braking zone of turn 8. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Williams. They're still relatively new to a sport which does have a high learning curve and, of course, little tolerance for mistakes.
That's right, it is a difficult environment to come into. In junior categories, you're competing against drivers with similar levels of experience. But some of these guys in Formula One have been there for over a decade. But I have to say, in this case, it's so far so good.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, Williams, Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Sainz, and Romain Grosjean. Ocon, Ericsson, Kevin Magnussen, and Gasly, Hartley, Alonso, Sergio Perez, and Charles Leclerc. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
I will certainly try and give them a race worth watching, Jeff. As you can see there, it's 2-stop strategy then. Ultras to Supers, and then Supers again to the end of the race. So, I mean, I was thinking about a 1-stop, but I didn't think it would work. So I didn't really try and do it. But we have the red lights coming on now. We have 4 lights, it's 5 lights. Lights out, and where we go here for the French Grand Prix. We've got off to a average start. I mean, Verstappen has just launched it down the inside of us here. We're now cut off on the outside of the circuit here. We now have a Renault of Sainz going down our inside, but luckily we managed to defend him off there. And now Verstappen has got past his teammate as well. What an amazing start by Verstappen here as we now look down the inside of Ricciardo. But Ricciardo now goes around the outside and down the inside now. And now the outside of Max Verstappen. And they get a terrible run as we now look down the inside of Verstappen here. But there's a contact and we're round. We're round here at the French Grand Prix. And here's a replay then. And personally, I think Verstappen could have left me more room because I was alongside him, as you can see there, alongside him. Yes, it's a bold move to make, but he just turned into me. Like, I was there alongside him, and then obviously the rear wheel to the front tyre made us spin around. And unfortunately then, we drop all the way back down to last place, I'm assuming, or near enough last place. Well, 18th place. And we now have Perez and Leclerc going side by side, but we now have Sergei Sorokin, or is it Stroll, going down our inside, and now we're going to go 4 wide possibly down here. And no, we're not. We're going to brake early and let Sorokin go past us as well. And this has been a hectic first lap here. And now we're going to go down the inside of both of the Williams cars as Stroll gets pushed out wide. And we now have Leclerc and Perez going side by side with this right-hander. And God knows what's going to happen here. Is one of them going to back out? No, they're going to go side by side through this corner. And there's no contact between them, amazingly. And we're going to have a look around the outside. But no, we decided to do the switchback. And they make contact. And yes, there's a bit of a corner cut. And the game recognises it. And went, whoa, Leclerc. Calm down. He almost just shoved our front wing off there. But yeah, that was a mental first lap. And now getting on to the second lap of the Grand Prix, then we're now trying to make our way back up to the points as we're now making our way past Charles Leclerc. And easy as you want. And which is surprising, really, because he has a 4 engine. But I don't know, I have upgraded the Renault engine in this career mode so far. So who knows what happened there. But yeah, past Leclerc then. Simple as you want, and up into P16 of the Grand Prix. So, recovering from that opening lap, that was quite mental, I'm not going to lie. But we're now caught up to the back of our teammate then, who's going really slowly through this corner. Now we're going to go around the outside, are we possibly? No, he has the better run, and but takes a really strange line through that corner. And now, as we now have DRS, I think he does as well, yes he does. And we're now going to go on attack mode on our teammate as we're now going to go around the outside of Alonso here. And that is us now up into P15, it is. And I think Leclerc is going to have a go on him as well. But luckily Alonso manages to survive that. And now catching up to the back of this train. It's the only thing that we can recall really. Train of cars. As Pierre Gasly tries to get past, I think it was Hulkenberg. So I don't know what's going on here. Maybe Hulkenberg has an issue, something. I don't know, but he's going really slowly. And he tries to defend from Gasly. We take an alternative line through the first corner. And now we have Hulkenberg in our sights. And we're going to go down the inside here. No, we're going to go around the outside. We're going to go side by side like Ricciardo and Verstappen on the first lap. And we managed to get the place back there. And he goes down the inside again. I didn't realise I didn't really think he was going to do that actually. Left in the room, but luckily we still managed to get past. And cutting on to lap 6, or lap 5 of the Grand Prix, sorry, coming on to lap 6. We now catch right up to the back of Gasly, I think. No, Gasly has pulled away quite a bit actually, as we are now coming into the pit lane. Probably the most awkward pit lane in the world, probably, in terms of entry. I really don't like it, and also the noise that they make when they when they notify everyone that there's a car coming into the pits. That's a horrible siren, I'm not gonna lie. But as we go on to the soft tyres anyway, I forgot I did that actually. I did record this a couple of weeks ago, so I don't really know. I can't remember what happened. during this Grand Prix, if I'm honest. And we're now going to go out into 19th place. So Hulkenberg did stop at the same time as us, so we're now on equal pace with Hulkenberg. And he's now going to go and try it down the inside of this corner, and we're going to go side by side. He's gone down the inside there. What a move from Nico Hulkenberg. We're going to try and switch back. No, we're going to hold back, and we're going to try it. No, he's blocked off. But I mean, that's a hell of a move from the AI, I'm not going to lie. That's a great move. I mean, fair play to Hulkenberg, we're sicking it in there. And he's managed to get past us there. So it looks like we're going to have a race-long battle here in Nico Hulkenberg. And once again, cutting on to the next lap, or a few laps later, I can't really remember. We've now stuck behind him, even though he's on the faster tyre. And we're now going to have DRS on him here. And we're going to put it up into overtake, up into Rich, and we're going to fly past him, going into this chicane, whatever it is. And that is us now up into 17th place. But obviously a load of people haven't stopped yet, so that's not the true pace of where we are. Like, it's not where we are when we come on the pitch, you know. So just a replay here of us getting past Nico Hulkenberg there, quite easily actually in the end. Was expecting that, but we now are cutting on to the lap 10 of the Grand Prix now. So just under halfway, and we now have a virtual safety car. I don't know what this was for. I think there was an incident at the first corner, but I couldn't quite tell what it was. So there was nothing on the replay cameras either, so I don't know what happened there. But cutting on to the end of the VSC then, and back up to racing speed, and as you can see there, we're back out in 16th. But we are behind Grosjean now, and Grosjean was nowhere near us before we made a pit stop, so we've made gains. Maybe not in positions, but we've made gains on people. But as we now cut on to lap 12 of the Grand Prix, sorry, we now have Nico Hulkenberg going for a move down the inside, and he's got it stuck, but we take the switchback, and that is, me and Hulkenberg have had some great battles in this race, I'm not going to lie. As he goes down the inside there, I then do the switchback, and then I then go around the outside of him, and we managed to successfully defend that position. So quite an eventful race so far. Maybe that spin at the first lap maybe has made the race more eventful, who knows. But we're now right behind Romain Grosjean here, and we're now going to go past him here up into is that 10th place. Wow, we're up into 10th now. So see, I told you, like, people in front of us hadn't made pit stops yet, and we've obviously made gains on people because we're now up into the points. So I don't know what's happened there, but we're now behind a struggling Valtteri Bottas. I remember that Bottas seemed to have brake issues or something, and he was going very slowly. So that's unfortunate for him, especially in the title fight as well. And he has now dropped down out of the points, I think. So it's a horrible Grand Prix for him. And we now have a yellow flag behind us. I don't know what's gone on there. Something happened. But cutting on to lap 16 of the Grand Prix then. And we now have Kevin Magnussen out of the Grand Prix as we almost take the front nose of Lewis Hamilton's car off there. That would have been awkward. And yeah, so we now have Lewis Hamilton behind us. We all know what's going to happen here. He's just going to steam past us, and we're never going to see him again. It's pretty much what's going to happen here. And here he comes now, literally half a lap later, and down the inside of us here, past us before the braking zone. And yeah, it was inevitable. It was inevitable, let's be honest, because he's in a much faster car. So I wasn't really going to hold him up, to be honest. So cutting on to lap 17 of the Grand Prix then, 10 laps left, and Sainz has come in, and we're going to come in at the same time as him. So at this point, it was very much between me and Sainz. I'd managed to pull away from Hulkenberg. He pit in because he was on supers, and we're now going to pit in for another set of tyres for the super softs. And we managed to come out just behind Sainz actually, so we've caught up to Sainz quite a bit. So it shows this car does have the pace. So you know, we do have the pace around here. And speaking of Hulkenberg, he comes out. We come out behind him. So we're not going to see the end of Hulkenberg in this Grand Prix. So cutting on to lap 18 then, there's now a battle between Leclerc. I mean, it's both the Sauers actually. Leclerc, I mean, Hulkenberg's gone past both of them. I mean, that is crazy. But now both the Saubers are going to go side by side with each other. I'm figuring out a way to get past them here, and I for some reason decided to go 3 wide. But I think the car in the middle, I think it's Leclerc, backs out, and we go down the inside of Ericsson. But Ericsson has the better run, but we then go down the inside of him again, and it seems we have the better grip. And now we are behind Nico Hulkenberg again, who's suddenly become our best friend, who we never want to let go. I don't know why. But moving on to lap 19 of the Grand Prix, then next lap we steamed past Hulkenberg like he wasn't there. And that was pretty much the end of the race between me and Hulkenberg. I'm sorry to say it, but I never saw Hulkenberg again after this, which is sad, because we became very close during this Grand Prix. And I don't know what I'm on about. And yeah, that's us now up into, I think we're still in the points. Yeah, we're still in the points. We are, well no, we're actually 11th, but people have pitted in now. As we said, the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And we actually have Alonso ahead of us, which is crazy. Here he is actually. So we're now right behind our teammate Fernando Alonso, and we have huge, massive pace coming into this sector, and we're now going to Alonso actually has DRS on, I think it's Gasly ahead of him, or Hartley, I can't remember. Hartley. So he's run it deep actually, and we now go do the undercut and round the outside of Alonso. He's probably not going to be best pleased with that, and he now has Nico Hulkenberg behind him going for the attack, but I think he successfully manages to defend from him. So yeah, but here's the move from the replay cameras. I mean, we didn't touch, so it's fair. But Alonso being overtaken like that by a rookie is not going to be best pleased, I'm not going to lie. But we're now caught back up to Brendan Hartley then, who's in the Toro Rosso obviously, and we're now going to have DRS down the start-finish line. Cutting on to lap 23 of the Grand Prix, and we now have Carlos Sainz just ahead of us now, and pretty much he's the only person that we can catch at the minute. Like, we can't really catch anyone ahead of him because they're too far ahead. There aren't enough laps left. So yeah, but a replay here of Alonso and Gasly, I think is, or Hartley, and there's a bit of contact there, and Hartley almost cuts across, and I think that was Bottas actually coming back, so they obviously fixed his issue. And we now have Pierre Gasly from nowhere, who was, I don't know where he came from actually. He must have been ahead of Sainz, but has gone really slowly, and we now go around the outside of him here into the first corner, just about making it to the track limits, and that is us now up into P8 of the Grand Prix. And now with 2 laps left of the Grand Prix, we've now caught back up to the back of Sainz. This is the last lap actually, and just ahead of him there is Perez. So if we had a few more laps of the race, we might have just about caught up to Perez, as Leclerc is out of the Grand Prix unfortunately. He was actually running in the points earlier on, so fair play to him. And we now go around the outside of Carlos Sainz there, up into 7th, is that? As it's starting to rain actually, so that's interesting stuff there. And we now have the overtake of Carlos Sainz on the replay cameras. Fairly simple really, didn't really bother to defend, and that is us now up into P7. You can see how close Perez is actually. And coming around the final sector, then Lewis Hamilton wins the Grand Prix. I don't know who from. I think it was Kimi Räikkönen or Sebastian Vettel. I can't remember. But coming around the final sector, now you can see how much we would gain on Sergio Perez. I mean, it's not much, but if we had a couple more laps, we would have gained. But after the first lap incident, then coming around the final corner, after the first lap incident, to finish P7, that's a great result. And I'm pleased with that actually.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
So the final race classification then sees Hamilton win from Raikkonen, I thought it was. I don't know where Vettel was actually. From Ricciardo, from Esteban Ocon there in 4th. So that's a hell of a Grand Prix from Ocon. And then Verstappen, who quite rightfully didn't finish on the podium, in my opinion. Sergio Perez, myself, Carlos Sainz, Bottas managing to get back up into the points. Pierre Gasly, my new best friend Nico Hulkenberg in 11th. My teammate, unfortunately, Alonso, managing to get 12th, which is it's not really the best position in the world. Brendan Hartley in 13th, and Marcus Ericsson down in 14th. And as I slowly scroll down, you then have Lance Stroll, Grosjean, Sorokin, Leclerc, Magnussen, and Vettel actually retired. I don't know when that happened. So sorry I didn't quite catch that in the video, but yeah, I didn't know Vettel retired, if I'm honest. But that's huge for the championship, nonetheless. So looking at the drivers' standings then, when I eventually get to it, there we go. We stay in 7th, and we've pulled away from Nico Hulkenberg actually, and the only change really is that Raikkonen has got above Bottas, and Hamilton has extended his lead in the driver standings. And Ocon has moved up a couple of places, which, as you expect, with finishing 4th. And in the constructors, I don't think much has changed, to be honest. I think Ferrari might have caught up to Mercedes a little bit. I don't know, probably not because of Vettel. But we now have an interview with Claire, so let's go and do that.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? That was a close finish. How are things between the two of you? It was more like dodgems than Formula 1 today, wasn't it? Appreciate your time.
So, hope you all enjoyed this episode. It's a long one. So, hope you all enjoyed this. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, sorry there hasn't been an episode for this for about 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks, something like that. I just haven't really been like wanting to play the F1 game, if I'm honest, or play career mode. It's already gotten boring for me, if I'm honest with you. But that's another story. If you don't know about my opinion on that, then go and check out my rant video. Nice segue. It'll be in a card annotation in the top right, or it'll be in the end slate of the video probably. But as you can see, then we have a lot of resource points. So I think I spent some of them here. I can't remember. But yeah, a very eventful race. It was probably made eventful by the spin, if I'm honest. And we actually have our first contract negotiation here, so this is interesting. See what we can get. I did try and start off, I did try to go in easy first of all, because I didn't know how much of an impact any of this stuff would have. So I set that to 20%. That to, well, you can see what I'm doing, and the attempt I did there, I mean, I probably could have got a lot more from the contract than that, if I'm honest. But you know, it was my first time doing it, so I didn't really know what effect anything would have on it. But Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Please do leave a like and a comment and subscribe for more. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.